Friday, August 30th, day 15. The wind actually calmed overnight, for a little while. But towards dawn I could hear it starting to whistle through the trees once again. I was also hearing the waves lapping at the shore. I got up shortly before 6. It was definitely calmer than the last several days, but not exactly a mill pond either. I had run out of days though. I would have to leave today, if at all possible. Without fanfare, photos, or further video, I had a cold breakfast, struck camp, and was on the water shortly after 7:30. While the water was choppy, it definitely wasn't dangerous. Once I cleared the island, I had the wind at my back and the sun in my eyes. My long day had begun.
Well, the wind's only supposed to be 5 miles an hour. And this is to my back.
Sometime later, I reached the point marking the entry to the bay where the dreaded long portage was. It was time to turn northeast to enter the bay. The water was much calmer in the bay, and in no time I was landing at the sandy beach, marking the start of the portage. Of course, the portage wasn't any shorter or easier than when I'd crossed it 2 weeks previously. But I had 4 factors in my favor. 1, I was carrying less weight. 2, I was more fit after the last 2 weeks of doing other portages. 3, it was cooler. And finally 4, it was the first portage of the day, so I was fresh. There was no denying. It was a tough portage, and the rains over the last few days hadn't made it any drier.
good at the balance beam.
Finally, at about 11:30, I reached Missing Link Lake. What a sight for sore eyes it was. Of course, my day was far from over, but the hardest part was definitely behind me. I would now be able to sit in the canoe for about 10 minutes as I made my way up the length of Missing Link Lake under mostly sunny skies. All too soon, it was time to face the much shorter, but still challenging, portage from Missing Link Lake to Round Lake. Still, there was beauty to enjoy along the portage trail as well. As I made my way across Round Lake, I reflected on my 15-day trip. I'd had some pretty rough times. Tough portages, heavy rain, strong winds, temperature extremes, poor campsites as well as the usual bugs. But these were more than offset by the good things. They were the awesome campsites I had, including the one on Crooked Lake, and I'll never forget the sunset paddle I took there. Then there was the fantastic foggy morning on Mora Lake, followed by the gorgeous portage into Little Sag. It was the calm, if cloudy, day I'd spent exploring Little Sag. Even the time I spent getting familiar with my macro lens, photographing mushrooms and other often overlooked pieces of nature. Over the course of the 15 days, I had visited 14 lakes, 11 of which were new to me. I'd stayed at 6 different campsites. It would be very tough to take a 15-day trip in the Boundary Waters without some bad weather. Without the rain, there would be no lakes. There would be no Boundary Waters. The tough times just make the good that much sweeter. In the end, it's the challenging trips that I remember the most vividly and with the most fondness. Trip 72 for me, 25 for Sam, was definitely one for the memory banks. It certainly will not be the last for either one of us. Nevertheless, even though I had mixed emotions about the end of the trip, as I usually do, going home was sounding a lot more attractive than usual.